Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the show. It's indeed great to have you with us for another week. Well, could the police officers and the Defense Force officer named in the United States indictment for guns and drug smuggling be planning to plead guilty? Well, the U.S. District Attorney made a bid to the court to bid for more time as the accused consider taking a plea deal. Here's Felicity Darville with more on this story.
The officer formerly in charge of the Royal Bahamas Police Force Airport Division, Chief Superintendent Elvis Nathaniel Curtis, Sergeant Prince Albert Simonet, Defense Force Petty Officer Darren Roker, and other Bahamians and Colombians will have to wait another 60 days before their case goes to court. Their matter was scheduled to be heard in the Supreme Court, Southern District of New York, this Wednesday. It was to be a pretrial conference that would allow the judge to hear preliminary evidence and decide if there was enough basis for the case to go to trial. But acting U.S. Attorney Matthew Podolsky petitioned the court for a 60-day postponement, and it has been granted. In a letter to the court, Attorney Podolsky said the parties are actively engaged in discussions that may bring some resolution to the scheduled pretrial proceedings. Curtis and others approved this motion, which may indicate a willingness to plead guilty and take a plea deal that would in essence result in them receiving lighter sentences. Back in November, the United States Attorney released the details of an indictment that accused the men of participating and even leading efforts to support and protect large-scale cocaine shipments from Colombia through the Bahamas en route to the United States. These alleged operations also involved illegal weapons. Now, Attorney Podolsky told the court in his petition for the adjournment that the U.S. government is also in the process of providing discovery to the defendants. This means they will have an opportunity to review the evidence that is intended to be lobbied against them during the trial. The 60-day adjournment will allow for time for the defendants to review the file and consider if they wish to file any motions. The case continues. Felicity Darville, ZNS Network News.
Thanks a lot, Felicity. As you can imagine, there's a lot of discussion that's going to be taking place surrounding this case because, of course, the eyes are watching to see what will unfold. How will it unfold? If you hear the trend of thinking is for them to take a plea deal, that means they're going to perhaps give up and cooperate with the prosecution and be able to give them additional evidence, but maybe even perhaps additional names. And in points and fingers in the direction that the prosecution believes that maybe we'll get a bigger fish than what we have already. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. They have 60 days before they go back to court to determine exactly what course of action they will take. All eyes here in the Bahamas are watching to see what will come out of what has been a big case. It led to eventually the retirement and the resignation of the Commissioner of Police. So what is going to come out of this? What evidence is going to be revealed? And what kind of negotiations are going to take place with the United States government in order to have a certain outcome? So we're definitely watching it and seeing what's developing and where their trend of thinking is and who they're really going after. We'll continue to monitor that story. Well, swirling accusations about local banks with the housing minister, accusing them of what he deems systemic prejudice. But tonight, the top banker is actually pushing back, charging that those allegations are actually flawed. Here's Devontae Hanna with that story.
It's a claim now gaining traction. Some small business owners alleging banks are hesitant or are outright refusing to approve their mortgage applications despite strong financial performance. It was during a key presentation for 8 new homes just last week that the Minister of Housing, the Honorable Keith Bell, sounded the alarm.
An individual walked into my office with $12,000 cash. Another individual walked and told me that he showed me his bank account with $100,000 as a deposit for a home. Another individual walked to my home. She sells the 99-cent breakfast. She has $90,000 cash for home and cannot qualify at a bank.
These concerns sparking questions over whether the traditional banking system is biased against small and medium-sized business owners who don't earn fixed salaries. But tonight, Fidelity CEO Gowan Bowe flatly rejects that criticism.
I think the minister's comments may be taken, in my view, as one-offs that have been used to broad brush an industry.
According to Bowe, banks are willing to lend to qualified borrowers, including entrepreneurs, but self-employed individuals often have complex financial histories that require detailed documentation.
So the first thing that has to be assessed is, well, what are the prospects that these persons are putting forward in order to borrow money? So how are they demonstrating that they have consistent cash flows, that they have the ability to meet the monthly payments of the loans for which they are applying or seeking funding for?
And while there is the argument that the process needs to evolve, Bo asserts a business's cash flow is a major factor to lend.
Is it susceptible to peaks and troughs in terms of business cyclicality, so tourism periods or high periods, low periods?
Whether it be a matter of policy or perception, the debate continues. The government reassures business owners, though it'll keep pushing for what it believes is fair access to home ownership. And on the other end, banks say that they will do what they can with the parameters they're given. For Bahamas Tonight, I'm Devontae Hanna.
Thank you, Devontae. Now let's set the record straight. Gowan Bo, I believe, is a great gentleman and he's a good man. But let me state unequivocally, it is too difficult to get homes in this country by getting financing through banks. I make no apologies for that. It is too difficult. For a banking system that is the third largest economy here in the Bahamas, it is still only really servicing the smaller portion of citizens in this country. It is not benefiting the larger portion of Bahamians because most of them cannot even go into the bank and do business other than perhaps cash a check, which they're charged for, or try to get a bank draft, which they're charged for. Other than that, banking really is not, let's be honest, it's not benefiting Bahamians the way it ought to. Not when you see that as much as banks talk about how difficult it's been, every year they turn millions of dollars in profits. Their shareholders are quite happy because they make more money for the shareholders. So my question then is, whose responsibility is it to ensure that Bahamians can afford to live their home? It's the biggest investment you'll make. And there are still too many middle-class people that still cannot afford a home in this country and cannot get financing for a home. Why? Is it that banks are not willing to work with you? Well, some are. And Gowan Bo was correct when he talked about those persons who are their own business owners, their own entrepreneurs. It is difficult for them because you have to prove a history of banking, a history of financial records. And face it, a lot of our small businesses in this country don't keep good records. So when they go to the bank to try and get financing, they don't have the records to show that I can pay this loan every month. I have a continuous flow of money coming in so I can service this loan. And so he's right about that. If you cannot prove that you can qualify for this loan, even though you may have money, then nothing they can do about it, and they're correct. But I go back to the main point. That is what progression is all about in our country. Because if banks aren't going to do it, we have to find lending institutions that will do it, that will say, okay, fine, let's sit down with you. You don't have all your finances in order. Let me sit with you, get it in order for you so that you can qualify. That we cannot say we have people making thousands of dollars a week and still can't have a home. So at the end of the day, who's looking out for that? You see the Ministry of Housing is doing all they possibly can to build homes, but everybody can't get a government home. The wait list is thousands. Thousands literally on a wait list for government homes because people want to be able to own their home. Everyone wants to say, my level of success has come to the point where I can now own my own home. I no longer pay rent, because let's face it, paying rent in this country is ridiculous. It's like paying mortgage now. So people want to own their homes. They want to put their families in homes. They want to see that all they're working for years and decades of their life, they can invest in a home. But how can you when there's so much? I've been through it. Let me tell you my personal experience. I've been through it with banks, right, in order to build my house. And I can tell you, there's just so much bureaucracy. There's so much things you don't know that you have to pay for. Hidden fees here, oh, pay for this, pay for that. It is very difficult to be able to build or purchase a home in this country unless you are making a good penny or you have a good savings. And we have to do a better job of it. We're failing at it, and we have to do a better job at it. This is a topic we have to continue to talk about because it should not be this difficult in your own country to get housing. And to get financing for housing, to get financing for your business idea. And it's interesting. Think about it. And don't tell me, I don't want to hear the banks tell me, say, oh, well, you know, they have to have these things in order, because it's not true. When you throw vacation loans at people like it's candy. You throw back-to-school loans like it's candy. You put shopping loans on them like it's candy. You put the car loan with the high interest on them as candy. People can get those easy. You ain't asking for much there. You tell them, I'll take your salary deduction, I'm good to go. Then why is it that when it comes to the consumer benefiting, all of a sudden there's so much red tape? You need this insurance, that insurance. You need this in place, that in place. You have this fee and that fee. By the time you pay all of those, which average person can actually afford to have a home in this country? We make it so difficult to have things that are good. But those things that you could turn a quick buck on in the bank and make plenty of money off of, oh, you get those easy. You get them easy. They can give you a vacation loan like that, salary deduction. You can get a car loan like that, salary deduction. These things depreciate in value, depreciate. But the things that will give you wealth and give you equity and give you and improve your standings in the country, you find it so difficult for the average man to get it. Something is wrong with that. It ought to be easier for you to build equity and build savings and build your worth in this country. And institutions ought to be able to help you do that rather than giving you things that put you in debt. It's why housing is so important in this country. And Bahamians are going to demand more. They're not going to accept from these multi-million-dollar banks the fact that they're making profit every year of giving you these quick loans with high interest rates, but the ones that help you build a future, they give you the red tape through it. It's almost as though they don't want you to have it. I'm not saying it. I'm just saying that's how it appears sometimes because of all of the obstacles that people face. Anyway, we're going to pick that story up another day because I want to get back to that story at some point when we talk about insurance in this country and why so many people are dying, why so many people are losing, so many people are having difficult times surviving because that one thing called insurance, which gives you almost a free ticket to get health care, a free ticket to be able to do some things, a free ticket. You can't afford it. And that's why so many people in this country don't have insurance. Why so many people in this country can't have access to private health care because it's out of their reach. And it's paying another mortgage. It's paying another mortgage. Well, we can talk about that another day. We talk about really how Bahamians, whether they do have a stake in this country or they don't, because the institutions seem to be the ones dominating and winning while Bahamians continue to struggle to be successful in their country. We have to fix that. We have to fix it. I mean, no apologies for it. You have to fix it. Good leadership finds solutions to problems, not make excuses for them. All right. Tonight on The Rundown, we're taking a closer look at a developing story that has captured national attention. Right? Bahama Grill, a well-known local restaurant, has issued a strong response following the circulation of some disturbing videos alleging food contamination linked to their establishment. Going as far as to say people have died because of it. Well, the owner is here. We're going to talk to him on the other side of the break about this. You're watching The Rundown. Then a little later, we're going to talk about something that's disturbing in our country, suicide. What is going on? We're going to talk to an expert about it tonight. You're watching The Rundown here on the ZNS Network. We're back after this. Stay close.
Bahama Striping Group of Companies, we have been in Exuma now for the past 4 years, carrying out our paving program. A part of our company's philosophy is to do some work to international standards. So when you look at our paving division, we have a state-of-the-art lab to do all of our testing in-house, as well as a state-of-the-art asphalt plant with a trained technician carrying out the work on that site. The overarching goal of our company is to produce the work that we're doing in the entire Bahamas to international standards. We also make a difference by the training of our staff. We have a very intensive training program going on to where we are teaching young men how to learn the art of striping. Being a young man myself, I've made mistakes in the past. I was given a second chance to better my life, and it's only fitting that we pass it along. What's important for us is giving them a second chance for them to get a skill and a career that could take them further in life.
The internet isn't just for surfing. There's a sea of shoppers buying online, and you can connect with them on Tingsy. Tingsy is the SBDC's online storefront built for Bahamians. Take your business to the next level by selling to customers online, both at home and around the world. People want Bahamian things, and if you got things to sell, sell on Tingsy. Find out how you can connect with a sea of buyers by visiting tingsybahamas.com.
Is the Little Caesars Stuffed Crust Pizza. Get more pizza for less money. Only $12. It's a whole new level of pizza with cheese stuffed crust so spectacular that there's nothing left.
Pizza.
A delicious pepperoni pizza with the crust stuffed with lots of cheese and brushed with butter and garlic flavor and sprinkled with Parmesan cheese. Hot and ready Thursday to Saturday between 4 and 8 for only $12. Simply irresistible. And only at Little Caesars.
Pizza.
Welcome back to the Rundown. A special good night to you, those of you in the Lion's Den. Thank you. I always appreciate your support and the comments, especially from Daisy Meadows. It's always a pleasure. I see you, Frederica and Monique. Thank you as well, and all of you who are in the Lion's Den. Those of you watching on YouTube, whether you're in the Turks and Caicos, around the Caribbean or around the world, watching, welcome. Those of you here in the country, thank you for whichever platform you're joining us on. It's good to have you for the Rundown. Well, in a statement released today, Bahama Grill firmly denied receiving any reports or complaints of illness or fatalities related to their food and emphasized that beef ribs that are featured in a particular video circulating have not been served at that location in over 4 years. Now, in an effort to get to the bottom of what they're calling a, quote, heinous, unconscionable act, end quote, the owners have reported the matter to police and are offering a $5,000 reward for information leading to the arrest and prosecution of those persons who are responsible. Joining me tonight on the Rundown to break this down is Eric Gibson, the owner of Bahama Grill. Sir, welcome to the Rundown. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's unfortunate that you've even go to the point of offering a reward just to get truth in this country. Again, I keep reminding people, we are so quick on social media to comment under posts that anybody could put up without any proof or verification of it being truth. And I'm not saying that what people may be saying is wrong or not, whatever. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that with any post in general, we're so quick to comment under it, not knowing whether it's been verified to be facts or not. Right. And before long, people start commenting and it goes viral because everybody's commenting under it, assuming that it's true without any verification of whether this is actually true or whether somebody can actually. I often ask people, do you recognize that people can actually plan attacks on people unjustifiably by putting something on social media and getting people to start commenting on it and it begins to go viral?
Right.
It doesn't have to be proven, and it doesn't have to be justified. If somebody wants to attack somebody or smear someone's character or rightly go after somebody, attack them for whatever personal reason, they can do so and people just assume it's true and start commenting on it. And I always tell people, be responsible with your post. All right? Now, let's first talk about this issue because most people know Bahama Grill, your Bahamian business has been around for some years. And listen, I get it. You either like it or you don't like it. If you don't like it, it's fine. Everybody won't like everything that people are selling. Right. So each is their own. Some people like it, some people don't like it. But if you do not like it, it is not an excuse to go and attack someone for what you believe might be true without having facts. Right. Just because you don't like the place. Right. It makes no sense. Stay away from it. It's just a responsible thing to do. But tell us how this all came about.
Well, I was blindsided by it. I started getting information sometime, I think it was last week, Saturday evening, going into Sunday morning. I was made aware that there was some posts circulating with information that I immediately recognized as fraudulent for a number of reasons. But the main thing is, what I feel and what I've known for operating for the last 15 plus years is that if there's an incident of anything, the very first thing happens is I get a call to say XYZ is the case. In this instance, I got no call. I got no inquiries. I got nothing to say that anything was different other than, our service.
And just for clarification for the viewing audience who's probably trying to figure out, what are you talking about, what's going on?
Right.
There was a post that went up by an individual saying that their relative died as a result of eating your food.
Yeah.
And then said there was other cases as well of persons who reportedly died as a result of eating your food. And they made a Facebook post about it.
Right.
Then I understand this is followed up by a statement of yours, a very, and I admit, a very strong statement by your company, allegedly condemning it. And then I understand a video then came.
Right.
What was this video showing?
The video showed what they said was a beef rib that that came from Bahama Grill. That had some crawling. I would assume they refer to it as maggots. Again, we can look at it and immediately dismiss it because we haven't served beef ribs for over 4 years. You know, right after the pandemic, 2021. There was a shortage of beef ribs. The prices escalated beyond what I can sell it for reasonably on the menu, so we discontinued carrying it. And this is over 4 years ago.
And they were trying to report that this was recent, recent purchase.
This is the conditions of Bahama Grill, in other words. You know, Clint, the thing that I do not want to do is give credence to such malicious, fraudulent information. Because anyone that knows me know that I'm about law and order. I'm about doing things the right way. I'm about making sure that anyone that patronizes my business get complete satisfaction. And I've been known to be criticized by my staff for being very lenient with customers because I don't take any complaint lightly. So when I see something like this that's just out of the blue, and they're basically going to such extent to insinuate that persons are dying, persons are getting poisoned, and we are serving food with something other than food. I mean, it's so crazy to me that I don't want to give that any life.
Right. The Ministry of Health did release a statement saying that they heard about reports and they were going to investigate them. What is your response to that?
I haven't gotten anything, Clint. I've been, this story, this information came out on Facebook, like I said, last week, Saturday, so it would have been a week and a few days now. I haven't gotten any complaints from anyone.
Have you heard from the Ministry of Health and Wellness?
No.
They've not called?
No. But Clint, why would I hear from them if it's false?
Right.
What I'm saying is, we're in a very small lit community. When things happen, people tend to get to the bottom of it very quickly. If I'm serving food that's detrimental to the public, well, first of all, I'll be the first to close. But I mean, I would imagine that the ministry, any ministry would be very concerned about that. So I wouldn't even want to comment on that because I've gotten nothing.
Right.
Nothing to date. Absolutely nothing.
What do you say about your operations and your conditions of your kitchen and so forth? What do you tell the public?
Here's the thing. We've operated for 15 plus years. We have a mode of operation in Bahama Grill that's probably outside of what you would call for the norm for a particular restaurant of that size. Number one, we prepare our food fresh daily. If we're going to serve 100 meals today, we don't come in and prepare for 100 meals. We are cooking throughout the day. So we prepare for probably 20, 30 meals and continuously cook so the food is
happening throughout the day.
Fresh as you come in. Secondly, our vendors deliver fresh food to us on a daily basis, right? There's a set of procedures that follow every single action performed by staff at Bahama Grill. We have a thick handbook, right? We've not only operated here, we've operated in Florida as well, as you may know. We have a strict code of operation that we follow. So when persons, anytime I get any complaint, the very first thing I want to do is get to the bottom of the complaint and understand what happened. Because only a few things could have happened is that someone didn't do what they should have done, or someone decided to do something differently outside of what they should be doing, right? So whenever I get complaints, we look at those things. So In terms of our operation, we kind of monitor ourselves to a certain degree. And of course, we do have agencies that we answer to as well,
right,
that have the responsibility to come in and check.
Do you believe this is a target attack on your business?
Absolutely. There's no doubt in my mind. Persons to claim that persons have died, persons getting sick, that we are serving food other than food, it's absolutely an attack. And this is why I wanted to say in uncertain terms. We've reported it to the police immediately. We've taken legal counsel, and we want to flush out whoever is behind it. This is one of the reasons why we put out a reward.
Right.
We want the public now to assist us. Look, the public should be outraged,
right,
to know that someone is going to the extent that they go to basically spread fraudulent information and put it out there as though it is the truth. I mean, that's crazy to me.
How has your business been impacted by this?
I mean, when this thing happened, we're going to have some impact. Certain persons will look at it and say, man, this is just crazy.
Right.
We know it can't be true. Certain persons will look at it and be gullible. Certain persons will look at it and don't know what to think. So they stay aside for caution. So obviously, it's going to affect the business.
What do you want to say to your loyal customers, or just customers generally?
Well, what we want to say to our loyal customers is, first of all, Bahama Grill is basically, we want to make sure our customers understand that we are staying true to our mantra, which is we want to provide the best food in the cleanest environment at the best prices with the best customer service second to none. And we wanted them to know that we take that seriously when we say that. We don't just repeat that just to say it. This is what we are about. We're not about anything that is not normal for us in terms of producing food at a certain level is not accepted. And we basically take it seriously, extremely seriously. I mean, this is why we survived for 15 plus years.
Right.
I've been in business for 15 plus years, never ever, I mean, I've had some mischievous things happen, but this takes it to another level. Why it's happening, I have no idea.
If you're able to find who's responsible, what is the company expect to do?
Look, whatever the law will allow us is what we're going to be doing. Whatever the law allows us. That's the reason why I want to flush this person out to the forefront. We're following some leads as we speak.
You know, tell Baham is $5,000 reward. They're going looking for the person responsible.
Well,
let you know.
We're hoping that they do that. We're hoping that they do it because we want to put a face to this. You see persons go on social media and be far removed from reality. We want to really bring it home to them that, look, you can't just... You don't have the luxury of going out there defaming individuals and just sit back, relax, and watch the fireworks.
I say all the time, people believe they can do anything on social media and there are consequences.
Right.
And I think we have to get it tighter with laws about people just going on social media, being irresponsible and say what they have to say.
Absolutely.
And it's sad and it's unfortunate. And like you said, that it's not true. And I always tell people, at the end of the day, truth always outlives lies.
Absolutely.
If it is a lie,
absolutely,
and certainly the truth will outlive it and be responsible for it.
Right.
All right, we're going to go to break. When we come out, we're not going to just talk about that. We're going to talk about some things you're doing to expand.
Right.
We'll take that on when we come back after the break. You're watching The Rundown. We're back after this. Stay close.
Mailboat service is a critical service to the islands of the Bahamas. Certainly, Andrews has always been there and dear to us. That's where we're born and raised. And so we play a crucial role in advancing the growth and development of Andrews. Customers want service and they want consistency. From the start, that's been our commitment. We work to sail on time every time. Our customers have come now to expect this from us. And one of the biggest challenges we've had was finding adequate funding. SBDC from the very start has been a lifesaver. My advice to young people, if you have a vision, a passion, an idea, go for it. Don't give up. It's not easy. If it was, everybody would be doing it. Be consistent and you'll get there.
Planning the execution of a newscast is serious business. From the assignment to the concept of the story, everything has to be precise, on point, always. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, is your trusted news service. We get it right the first time. Our preparation for you each night is done with care, knowing that our voices will reach you on 700 islands and keys with unquestionable accuracy. It gives me great pleasure each night to say,
welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. I'm your national anchor, Mukesh Lopinder.
Welcome back. My guest is Mr. Eric Gibson, the owner of Bahama Grill. And this segment, we're not going to focus on what's going on in social media, but the fact that he is, as a Bahamian businessman, getting ready to expand. A proposed major transformation really could be on the horizon for West Bay Street as Bahama Grill through a 7-story, 103-room hotel expected to be going up on that same property, 1.39-acre property. That's interesting. Tell us a bit about this proposed project.
Yes, and the little, with the numbers, it's saying 103, but we're actually going for between 126 and 130 rooms.
Wow.
You know, we're expecting to.
In that area?
Yes, we have enough space for it. It's a bit deceptive when you look at it because Bahama Grill sits on the front portion.
Right.
So I don't know if you realize we have a really big parking lot behind Bahama Grill.
I've seen the parking lot.
Yeah, and then behind that we have an even bigger space.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're going to utilize that. We're doing a 7-story building. We're going to have a car park garage with about 300 cars to park for about 300 cars. We're looking to do a ballroom about maybe 7,500 square feet, maybe accommodate a few hundred persons seated. And we're looking to do 3 restaurants and about 4 bars in addition to the 130 rooms.
That is amazing.
Yeah, so we're doing.
Are you calling the King's Court Hotel?
King's Court is the complex, King's Court complex, and then we're talking to a brand right now to. A major brand to take the brand ownership for the hotel. So we'll come under a major brand.
That's amazing.
We're looking to do that, and we're in advanced stages now. We've gotten the preliminary designs you would have seen published. We would have gotten the preliminary approvals from Ministry of Works. We're working our way through, and we expect things are moving sufficiently so that we should get in the ground before the end of the year. All
that soon.
Yeah, we're looking to get in the ground by the end of the year. That's our objective.
And I'll assume the King's name comes from the late Eric Gibson, King Eric.
King Eric, that's right.
I figured that. What a great legacy there.
Yes.
Why this hotel project? Why this project? Because so many Bahamians are afraid. We've been saying, why aren't our own people going into one of the biggest things we need in our own sector?
Yeah.
And people always fear about it. Why have you made this leap?
Well, I'll tell you, honestly, when I started out, I always wanted to do a few rooms for a hotel, and I was going to hedge it with some commercial space. And I did the feasibility study. I paid a firm to come in to do a feasibility study, and I realized that there's a big gap.
I was about to say, there's
a huge gap right in that mid-market sector.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you recognize that most of the developers coming into the Bahamas, international especially, they're going after that top-tier market.
Right.
They want to do luxury.
And there's more than that visiting the Bahamas.
Exactly. We have a lot more than that to offer. The other thing I recognize is that most of these big conglomerates, when they put their monies in and get that top luxury, they're looking to keep the tourists at their location. King's Court is going to try to do the opposite.
Get you out around.
And we want to see them move around. We want to see them go over to the fish fry. We want to see them utilize and check out the nearby museums or Fort Charlotte or Botanical Gardens, walk around the beaches. We want to see them moving around. We want to see them visiting other places other than just King's Court. So we're looking to challenge the system a bit, if you will. I don't want to really say it like that, but because we think that mid-market is just a sweet spot where we can offer a product that more persons can afford and make the product in Nassau especially more affordable.
How many full-time jobs will this project offer, and what are some of the roles?
We're looking, well, obviously it's a full hotel, so we're looking all the whole roles in the hotel, starting with the general manager, front desk managers, front desk agents, bartenders, waiters, technical staff, with the engineering. It's a full hotel, right? We're doing everything any hotel would do. So we have a full cadre of persons. So we're looking at, for just the hotel sector alone, we're going to be around 150 persons.
Wow.
When you start to add the bars and the restaurants, we're going to be well over 200
How do you think this is going to impact the community that you're in?
Well, we're looking for it to spur more investors like myself to come in and do some more for the Bahamas. Because that's another thing, Clint. We don't really own our tourism product. Our tourism product is owned by foreigners mainly. So with me doing this, I'm hoping that I can encourage other persons to come and do the same thing. You know, more of the persons with more means than I have to come in and participate in this sport, in this tourism sector, because it's wide open.
And of course, you know, that's a very congested area. How are you going to handle all the traffic flow and stuff in there?
That part of it is, believe you me, once you approach Ministry of Works, they're going to make sure everything is...
Yeah.
But we actually have, we sit, I don't know if you recognize or realize that we sit between two roads.
Correct.
So we're going to utilize that for the in and out, and then make sure that we should have minimal impact on the traffic on West Bay Street, because we're coming in on one road and going out on an existing road that basically just sit there now. So it's minimal impact. It's all been considered by the various departments already.
So we understand it's going to be a reimagined Bahama Grill.
Absolutely.
What is that going to look like?
Well, what it'll look like is, it'll look like Bahama Grill taking it to the next level. We don't want to make Bahama Grill. The one thing I've done for the past 15 years, I fought to keep the prices of Bahama Grill reasonable. I don't know if you recognize that we have some of the most reasonable prices in Nassau when it comes to dining out. Mm-hmm. And that's not by accident. So my intention is to maintain that, but take the facilities to another level, right? So make it more inviting for persons. We basically want to up the notch a bit for Bahama Grill. Bahama Grill will sit as one of the four restaurants. Yeah. So we'll have that still there, and another couple of restaurants to complement.
Nice. Obviously, you talked about the fact that it'll be for mid-tier travelers who are not on the high end, who want to still come to the Bahamas. Do we need more resorts that can cater to that market of people who don't have that high spend, but they still want to experience the Bahamas?
Well, the feasibility study points directly to that exact thing, because if you want to come to the Bahamas right now, it's very expensive. Mm-hmm. We have a very few participants in that mid-market. And think about this as well. We've never had a hotel built from the ground up for that mid-market.
True.
We haven't had that for I don't know how many years. True. We've had a lot of hotels renovated,
right,
none really created for that space. So the whole thing, I'm very excited about it. I've been getting a lot of good positive feedback from a lot of persons in the industry. And it's been said that Nassau especially have a shortage of rooms, mm-hmm. So we expect to fill that a bit with, 130 room, 100, as much as we could. But once this is in place, we're already looking at the expansion portion of it. We're already thinking expansion.
Wow. Because
we anticipate that this is going to catch on very quickly.
And obviously, people always want to know, and of course, this is going to cost, is there a price tag to what this will cost?
Well, right now we are looking somewhere between 30 to 45 million, and the reason why I can't give you an exact price right now is because we've only gotten to the design phase. We still have to get our engineers in and do. This is why we're going to take until the end of the year to get started. But now we need to put them to work now, get all the details of what needs to be done, and we should be somewhere in that 30 to 45 million dollar range.
Wow. Well, congratulations to you. We definitely look forward to supporting and looking forward to seeing this come up out of the ground.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eric Gibson, for joining us tonight in the rundown and talking to us not only about what you're facing now. You know, they always say you always go through your darkest hour right before morning comes. And so obviously you've already told us about the sun shining again.
Yes.
There's no doubt you go through trials and tribulations before it.
Yes, well, I always, I'm very optimistic. I don't let anything pull me down, so to speak. I look at everything as a challenge. This is one of those challenges that obviously I have to address and get over. I would prefer not to have it, but obviously it's there, so I have to deal with it. But I'm looking forward to bigger and better things. I'm looking to really take the Bahamas forward to bigger and better things. It's just not me or my family. It's really the whole Bahamas.
Well, thank you for being here and sharing your story with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Stay with us. We're going to talk about a very serious issue, suicide. It's crazy, but we need to get the facts on what we can do to address it. You're watching the rundown. We're going to talk about that after the break.
The internet isn't just for surfing. There's a sea of shoppers buying online, and you can connect with them on Tingsy. Tingsy is the SBDC's online storefront built for Bahamians. Take your business to the next level by selling to customers online. both at home and around the world. People want Bahamian things, and if you got things to sell, sell on Tingsy. Find out how you can connect with a sea of buyers by visiting tingsybahamas.com.
I am a master plumber by profession. I've been doing plumbing for over 40 odd years. When I was 9 months old, I was diagnosed with polio. To me, living with polio, I took it the way it is. I never allowed my polio to get in my way of anything. In fact, I love when people doubt me, and I just prove them wrong. And let me tell you, in the world, you could only find a plumber as good as me, but you ain't gonna find no plumber better than me. People with disability, they just need a chance. In this program, I feel so encouraged. Most of the mentors have different kind of disability, but disabilities like me. Sharing and caring and showing so much support with people with disability. They would encourage you to go beyond. I wish this was around a long time ago. Right now, I would have been a millionaire. You out there who have a disability, don't be afraid. Take the step. If you believe it, you could achieve it. And remember one thing, ain't no one better than me, and ain't no one better than y'all. God made all us equal.
For more information about how the SBDC can help your small business to make a big impact, give us a call at 461-7232 or visit sbdcbahamas.com.
Welcome back. In recent weeks, the Bahamas has faced a concerning rise in suicide incidents, prompting a national conversation about mental health and community support. Notably, a 22-year-old man was found deceased at his residence March 14th, what authorities are investigating as a suicide. Additionally, a 36-year-old man from Grand Bahama, initially reported missing, was later discovered to allegedly taking his own life. Well, they say connection is suicide prevention for all ages. And the head of the Bahamas Christian Council agrees. But he says it's pivotal. People understand there's more to it. And that's where our Daniel Dean picks up this story. Take a look.
More Bahamians are taking their lives in recent times. 6 already this year through 11 attempts. Victims range in all ages. Sadly, last year, one victim was just 8 years old. President of the Bahamas Christian Council, Bishop Dr. Dalton Fernando, meshing his experience in psychological and spiritual matters, says he's come to this conclusion.
I could pick up your phone right now and figure out what space you're in. But I'm trained, I'm professional, I work with law enforcement. I can tell you a whole lot about your life just by what the reels give me as soon as I pick up your phone. And I know that's scary, but it's what you're tapping into. Your space, the AI, the system is designed to give you more. If you're into darkness, it'll give you more darkness. If you're into light, it'll give you more light.
But from his observations, some of it statistical, these circumstances have been the trigger.
A downturn, a difference in your present situation, that you're not in the financial condition that you used to be. You might have lost your job, you might have had an occasion that you couldn't make a bill payment, that your water is off, your light is off, can't pay school fee, can't pay. You think about the compounding problems that bring you to a place that you feel hopeless. I can't get out of this. Nobody is helping me.
Fernando warns those vulnerable not to get lost in the alternate reality of social media, suggesting they surround themselves with persons who can pull them out of the pit.
Don't hit a like, don't hit a button, don't share it on social media. You can find a person of faith that is not only sharing the gospel of Jesus Christ, but is prepared to walk you through and bring you back from the edge and bring you back to a place of standing strong.
The Crisis Center operates a 24-hour hotline, 322-2732, or dial 911. Reporting for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Danielle Dean.
Thanks a lot, Danielle. Well, tonight we're talking with a licensed clinical psychologist, Dr. Valerie Knowles. And, of course, she's from the Bahamas Psychological Association. Dr. Knowles, it's really an honor to have you here tonight in these few moments. From a psychological point, what are the underlying factors that are contributing to this recent wave of suicides and attempts on suicides in this country?
When we talk about the psychological factors, the psychological factors do not operate on their own.
Right.
Usually there's an interaction between the individual psyche, an interaction with there's also the community psyche around the person, there's an interaction with the whole national psyche, all coming to bear on the person as they cope with their problems. But when we look at it from the psychological perspective, which is different from the psychiatric perspective, a psychiatric perspective suggests some underlying mental disease that perhaps needs a medical intervention in addition to therapy and other interventions in order to bring a sense of balance. But I'm happy that you persons understand the psychology of it, that makes it, that puts it within our own domain, within you and me and Susie and Harry down the road.
Something we have control over.
Exactly, that we begin to work with. And I know the persons talk about it, and I always look at it this way. People say, you need to stop talking about Dorian, you need to stop talking about COVID, though that's gone. But prolonged impacts in terms of individuals who may have been holding on since that initial attack, who may have just come to the end of their sense of resilience. We've seen more persons who are still holding on. Bahamian are resilient people. The cost, like Dr. Fernandez said, the costs have gone up, rent has gone up. But one of the things that has not happened is that, you know, there was not a break to recuperate, come back to normalcy, if there's such a word, get your power back and come back out fighting. So many times if you look at your tolerance level as a cup full, right? And so if you take out some out your cup, if you're able to take a whole lot of your cup, because you're going to need some space to cope with day-to-day issues that are coming up. But if I have not gotten my balance, I was still just surviving for a long time without the backup psychological support and the backup maybe financial support, then I strain. Right? And even in strain, because I know many times people always say, well, my old grandpa used to strain. Strain is not a new thing. But how they perceive strain, that's another issue I want to go to. So there's a person who becomes strained, but becoming strained is not necessarily a choice to go and self-harm.
Right.
Persons may feel the strain. They may feel, but we have different psychological and social ways of coping with that. Some persons, they're the negative ways. They drink, they smoke, they gamble, they do things to heal the pain and to hide the pain and to move away from it. And then, but those are persons, like we said, psychologically, a sense of belonging, a sense of attachment, a sense of competence. And even in all my strain, you know, there's still some things I can do. My sense of purpose hasn't altered, even though my roof hasn't been repaired, and I'm still not employed. I still find some purpose in my life. And so my sense of identity is still strong. I'm still a child of the King, or I'm still a Johnson. I still have a family. I have some way to strengthen me as I cope with the strain, as the issues become more difficult.
Is there a certain sector that is being targeted, or that we're seeing, based on demographics, that it's unfolding more? I mean, we saw in the story that a lot of the cases we've seen so far are men, and then young men. Is that now an emerging new trend? And then, of course, people will say, well, yeah, because a man has to bear the shoulder of all the responsibilities. So if he can't provide, if he can't give, then he becomes defenseless, almost to say. But are you seeing that it's happening?
You know, I'm reluctant to say there's a trend, because the numbers are so close, and the study hasn't been done, and then one year they're up, and the other year they're down. Okay? But I think if you're talking about psychological burden, psychological bleeding, right? Psychological strain, the prophet, priest, king model is the toxic one for a lot of persons. I'm not saying it's wrong, but if I can't read and I can't write, if I don't have a job, I must still carry this load on me, as opposed to teamwork, right? And sometimes we define our own masculinity doesn't even allow for teamwork. Right? And then are we allowing them to be able to be a man if he doesn't have a job, if he's not working, if he cannot read? And can we bring together, and you support me in my weak moments, I support you in your weak moments, or do we still are not connected and we want to blame as if we move through? But I think one of the things that in terms of national empathy, social empathy, is recognizing the stresses in the society escaped nobody. The impact of COVID and the whole society closing down, nobody escaped. I think what we have found is those persons whose cupboards were empty before COVID, they do a lot better because the cupboards are empty after COVID. Right. It's those persons whose cupboard have been empty for the first time. Right. And the food has not gone back. That's a new trend. Right. And so they don't even know how to talk about it. They don't know how to cope with their new status. Right. And how the balances haven't come back yet. The books haven't come back yet. But I'm not walking away from that group. that's been holding that rope for a long, long time. That the society needs to support. And I think we're doing a good job. I'm not gonna throw the towel and say, oh, the whole society is collapsing. Everybody's killing themselves. Everybody's killing themselves. Because you realize, like we said, reaching out, connecting, providing feedback are things that we all can do. Humanizing contacts, watching what we use to decide that we're not doing well, right? If I lost my job, who says that means your life is over? Right? And so it goes back to how we reinforcing our parenting, letting our children realize that conflict resolution, problem-solving skills, all these things are part of life. And they watch how adults cope. And they recognize their good coping mechanism and their bad coping mechanisms. And so, like, I want to say one more thing too, Clint, that self-harm does not always come, like I said, from that strain. Some people out of anger, sometimes, they respond out of anger. Okay, sometimes there's relational issues, betrayal, trust, betrayal, anger. I think if I hurt myself, I can hurt you back.
Right.
And then other thing that goes with too, substance abuse. Once you have substance use, along with the increased emotions, your reasoning is off. The increased impulsivity. There's some people who respond on impulse, not with the intention of ending their life, but just with ending the pain, right? And so, in the end of the day, the life is lost. So there are so many other factors that go into why a person makes the decision to self-harm.
Is attempted suicide considered a crime?
Yes, I understand that to be so.
So if somebody goes to commit suicide and it doesn't happen, they can be charged for that?
I had that understanding.
Wow.
Right, but I understand it's under review as well. But there are some persons who believe that that is one of the inhibiting factors, the stressing factor for some persons that holds them behind that decision. But that is also...
Is there still a stigma attached to this?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
People, instead of coming forward to get help, are afraid to say, I don't want to tell them I feel suicidal, so I just keep it to myself?
Mm-hmm. I think there are many times back then, you have persons who cope with suicidal ideation all their life. It never moves from beyond the ideation, right? It may not have a plan, may not have an opportunity.
But the idea exists.
Yeah, but they cope. They're struggling with at a lower level of depression, perhaps, okay?
Wow.
Compared to some persons who have these strong impulses that require a different level of response. But I think part of the risk factors, because it's more than science, it's risks, is that's just like you said, rather than tell somebody, I think we're improving. I don't think we're way back. Because we can still, people almost wear a badge or on. It's why I want a mental health day. You don't take it seriously to a certain extent, right? But I think we have come to the point where we say, I don't want nobody to think I'm crazy. And there are some people who become very comfortable and say, you know what, I have some ways to feel like harming myself, particularly adolescents and the young persons. I think they carry their ideations for a long period of time. Because I really don't think, even in the light of the spurt, Bahamians, they will probably take you out first before they take themselves out.
True.
Right?
True.
In that regard. So I think we still have a strong sense of survival and resilience, and I'm gonna try to take it to the last lap before that.
What help is available to those who are struggling? I mean, want to know what services are available to them.
Okay, I'm going to give you two. I'm going to take to me. I'm going to respond based on, like I call it, a pyramid.
Sure.
At the top of the pyramid are those persons who need the medical intervention, who need the referral, and they're coming from the bottom of the pyramid. And that's because the psychiatric services and the hotlines that we have that they can call to, and the family members can identify the signs, bring them into contact with the mainstream, and help to follow up. Then we have the middle of the pyramid, where persons who may have the suicidal ideation, maybe be under stress, under strain. You're moving for more prevention model, which means that we then have the guidance, because the mental health pyramid is not only psychiatrists. We have guidance counselors, we have social workers, we have preachers and pastors, all working with mental health, working in that regard. But I think the dangerous part is those unattached persons. There are some persons who will never go to a doctor, never read a pamphlet, never listen to a lecture, never have a discussion, don't even think it's important. And that's important. We have, I think, foot-to-foot door community work is where we do that. At the Bahamas Psychological Services last year, we had about 3,000 conversations in the inner city. Wow. Which means we had to go to people under the tree where they were sitting, because we knew, having had the whole nation exposed to COVID and the trauma, you can see the people sitting under the trees, on the walls, and they're not coming into any clinic. They're not listening to any radio program, so we had to go to them. So we trained the team and we walked in.
You discovered these people had real issues.
Yes, and they wanted, and they were shocked that we came. because we knew that that unattached group is the group that we really need to meet. So and we had pamphlets, we talked about stress management, conflict resolution, positive and negative ways of coping, and they were highly appreciative. And that's where we got to meet a lot of the young men into the neighborhoods we went into, and all the homes that people can just sit there. We didn't went for the big noise and TV. We went just because of confidentiality.
Of course.
And we just went and talked and took the service to them with the support of the Ministry of Health. We were able to do that.
Do we have the support in our system for mental health? I know people saying there's so many people who need help. We don't have enough professionals to help.
I think we need to stop thinking of it as being a specialized need of intervention. Yes, for sure. I'm not going to say yes. We always need more psychiatrists, psychiatrists, right? But I believe what we've done, we've trained 1,000 people within the last 2 or 3 years to be lay persons. We call it psychological first aid. How just wherever you are in your space, you can reach out and connect and transfer. Wow. And I think the more we increase that and demystify it and recognize that you can do it, I can do it, you don't need to agree to do it, we all become mental health workers in our own stead. And one little certificate, 6 hours. That can help you to touch other lives.
That's amazing. Dr. Knowles, thank you for coming on the show tonight and being our guest. I appreciate the work that you and your colleagues are doing to try and save lives. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
And that does it for the Rundown. Be sure to stay locked on the ZNS Network for the Bahamas tonight at 11. It's the final newscast of the country with the latest news and information.